one or the other, a series where we take variants from any class and see if they either live up to or exceed expectations, or are below par and not worth the time and effort. Today, we shall settle one of the most notable debates within the soldier category, from the burst damage of the tank commander to the splash machine of the scuba soldier. Who will come out on top? Let's get started. Both the tank commander and scuba soldier are variants of the soldier class that can be unlocked through opening sticker packs. Starting off with tank commander, the tank commander's primary weapon is completely different from a standard soldier's weapon, as instead of a fully automatic rifle, it is of a bolt-action explosive weapon that fires highly explosive rounds. Each time the weapon is used, it must be reloaded, which takes 1.65 seconds to do each time. Each shot fired can deal 60.5 damage for a direct hit and up to 20 for the splash, in a very generous radius. The shots fired travel rather slowly, so you will need to lead your shots at range. The weapon does suffer a significant amount of drop-off, with it going down to only 30.25 damage for a direct hit and up to 10 for the splash, being one of the few characters in the game where his splash damage is also affected by damage drop-off. We then have the scuba soldier, who shares a lot of similarities with tank commander, but with a few changes. His weapon fires at 70 rounds per minute and has only 2 rounds per clip before needing to take a 1.8 second reload. Each shot fired can deal 55 damage for a direct hit and up to 30 for the splash, in a fairly generous radius. The weapon does suffer a noticeable amount of drop-off, with it going down to 36.67 damage for a direct hit and up to 20 for the splash. Additionally, when scuba soldier hits an enemy with his weapon, they will be tagged, causing them to be highlighted through walls for the next 3 seconds. This effect is exclusive to the scuba soldier, so only he can view them through walls. Now, when comparing the two, both have their advantages in some areas and disadvantages in others. For tank commander, his primary weapon offers immense high damage up close and keeps his full damage output for a fair distance up until mid-range. Whilst his splash damage may not be as high as the likes of other characters, the blast radius is one of the most generous within the entire game, so you can still deal some damage with each shot as long as it lands near them. However, having to reload the weapon after every use does mean that complete misses will be devastating, though this can be partially mitigated by his 2 reload upgrades, though it still makes him have a noticeably higher skill floor that some players might not be prepared for. His range game is also rather poor, losing out on half of his damage per shot, as well as having rather slow projectiles, which makes long-range engagements not in his favor, and so close to mid-range fights are where he thrives at. We then have scuba soldier, who has a similar story, where he has high damage per shot, though in Scuba's case, his skill floor is significantly lower, due to his splash damage per shot being much higher, and having 2 shots per clip, which means less downtime in comparison to tank commander. The sonar effect, whilst it is not much, can be useful in keeping track of where enemies are after shooting them. However, much like tank commander, his projectiles are rather slow, and he loses out on quite a portion of his damage output at range, though he does not suffer as much, given that he has 2 shots per clip as opposed to only 1. It's essentially a choice between: do you want to play a variant who has a bolt action explosive primary that rewards landing consistent direct hits and has a relatively high skill ceiling, or do you want to play as a variant who has an extremely low skill floor and is generally easy to pick up and play? Whilst my choice may be controversial, but I personally believe that the tank commander is the better variant out of the two, as whilst he may have more downtime than the scuba soldier and not have as generous splash, his high damage per direct hit, especially with the damage upgrade, makes it extremely rewarding to play as him if you can put in the effort. Though I will give credit to Scuba for being incredibly easy to pick up and play. Be sure to come back for the next episode in 2 weeks. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more shit like this. Have fun.